Coach, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You've talked since you've been here and probably forever as a coordinator on takeaways, stress it. At the risk of dumbing it down, is the ability to create turnovers sort of in direct proportion to the strength of your defensive front?
I bet if you look at the numbers, and we've looked at those numbers in the past, those takeaways happen in the pocket most of the time, and that percentage has been disputed over the years. But that's definitely a way for it to happen, and we're excited about our front this year and going forward. So yeah, I would say yes to that question Mike.
So again, just a quick follow-up. Making the quarterback do things before he's ready, speeding up his progression and all that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a if you look at all the takeaways, in the course of last year, and which we do, we look at those. It's going to be a combination of rush and cover and rush, and then also pressure. So it'll be a combination of that, and really a lot of times it's a really good player beating another player and making a play on the football in the pocket. So that's again the talent level at the D line and the coaching over there. So it'll be that way really pretty much for every team.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
LB.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for your time. A couple quickies, really. Is there anything you can apply from last year's season finale to this game? Anything at all? And secondly, could you comment on Malik Hooker? Chris Ballard talked the other day about how impressed he was with how Malik showed up for work and was really, solid in camp.
Yeah, I think you really draw on a lot of things when you prepare for a first game, and that's all the snaps from the players that are currently on the roster to look at their skill sets, be it receiver or quarterback or running back. I think that's a good way to do it. And then you look at our past performances against these guys. In terms of, again, I know it's a totally different scheme. Jay Gruden's the new coordinator. Bob McAdoo's the new quarterback coach, the same line coach with George. And so you look at it, you encompass a lot of different tape when you're playing a new group. And then also what their acquisitions are. You look at that and see how they're going to filter those guys into their scheme and use their skill sets as well. So there's a lot that goes into it from a lot of different ways. And, I think that that's the best way to do it. Going forward and how you want to attack a particular unit. To answer your question about Malik, I think Malik's doing well. If you look at our scrimmages that we had, the in-game scrimmages we had, I thought he was doing well. I think he's working on his footwork, working on reading his keys, and his drive points to the football, I think have improved. Albeit run or pass. And those angles are so important when you're playing that safety position to be able to key and read fast and be quick to the football and beat them to the punch. And then your angles are so important to be able to make plays in the run and the pass. So he's been working on those things, just trying to clean those things up. And I think he's doing a nice job. Him and Allie Williams been working together on that. And they're doing a nice job.
Thank you, Coach.
George Bremer.
Coach, I've seen a lot of people around the league say something to the effect that cohesion on the offensive line might be one of the tougher things to get with the way the offseason was. Given that, is there any kind of temptation to maybe throw a few more looks at the line than you would in a normal week one?
I think there's merit for that. I think they do have experience over there in Jacksonville at the offensive line. We really think highly of those guys with what they bring to the table. And the way they're coached. So we know it's experienced group. It's one of the strengths of their, better part of their team, along with their receiving core. So we have our challenge ahead of us with that, but they have some cohesion there.
Andrew Walker.
Hey, Coach, what did you learn about Gardner Minshew last year? He obviously had some pretty good performances as a rookie, but when you break it down and you get set to face him on Sunday, what are the challenges? And as you mentioned, new offensive coordinator, how do you prepare for that? Do you just bank on kind of what you've known from Jay in the past, or how do you go about that?
Yeah, I think you pull on all the things, like, kind of like I said before, Andrew, is like you pull on all the tape that you have on particular coordinator, particular line coach, whoever's on their staff, this is always a little bit difficult when you're playing a new guy, but we have some experience. Jay's been in the league a while and has done an excellent job. As a coordinator, and he's certainly tough to defend. So you just pull on all the things you can, and try to paint a picture for your players of what you're going to get done for the game. So it's always a challenge.
Kent Sterling.
Hey, Coach, how does the lack of preseason tape for the Jaguars affect your routine as far as the game one prep?
Yeah, good question, Kent. Again, you got to go back to the tape from what Jay has done in the past, and also what we've seen with each individual player. And when we do a good job of that with the individual coach, studying their tendencies, albeit offensive line, running backs, receivers, and quarterback. So that's what we have to go off of. And those guys played well. Certainly. And we have our challenge ahead of us with those guys, but it's important that we focus on any game is focus on what we're doing, and how we're doing it is as important as looking at the opponent.
Mike Wells.
Hey, Flus, how you doing? Hey, I wanted to ask you about your starting linebackers. There seems to be a lot of praise about the group. Everybody knows how good Darius has been in his first 2 years in the league, but what makes this starting linebacker group so special?
I would say, I've been fortunate to be around a couple good ones and a couple good groups with linebackers are concerned. And I think that, when it comes to those guys, is that they work well together. And I can see that with these guys, that they know each other. They know each other well in terms of what their skill sets are, and in terms of what each guy needs help with to operate out there. And we've always said that, hey, you can always be helpful to each other. We're not going to, as one linebacker, you're not going to see everything all the time. But, man, if we can get two guys on it or three guys on it at the linebacker level, we can help each other out with, whatever that is, to communicate and to get lined up and to be on it on our keys. And I think that this group has that. They really care for each other. They're good teammates, and they work well together, and they're always trying to help each other. And that's what makes a good leader, and that's what makes a good teammate. And that's what I see from these guys. And they have those same attributes of the other groups that I've been fortunate to work with. So we're excited about the group, and it's a group that's tight, and they're in it together, and they fight together. So it's an exciting group to watch.
I wanted to ask you to follow up with that, more particular about Anthony. It seems like, Darius has made a name for himself. Bobby has that kind of the same energy as Darius. But what is it about Anthony that allows him to get the job done? He's never the fastest player on the field, but as far as football smarts, he seems to be tuned in with everything.
Yeah, I think it's really what makes a good pro. What makes a good pro is that they know themselves better than they know the opponent they're going against. And they know their opponent they're going against too, but they know what they can do and what they're good at, and they enhance those skills, and they enhance their what makes Anthony so good is his ability to see things fast and beat guys to the punch. So he's able to do that, down in and down out. And that's why he's been such an effective linebacker for us over the last couple of years. He studies the game. He's uber smart when it comes to that, and he's improved his key reading, and he's done that throughout the course of the last couple of years. And he's unselfish. The one thing about Anthony is that he's been able to play Will for us. He's played Mike, and he's playing all three positions now for us. So he's always able to adjust and adapt to the situation at hand, and that's what makes him a great pro as well.
Joel Erickson.
Hey, Matt. What makes Jacksonville's receiving core difficult to defend?
Yeah, I think it's the skill set. It's the skill set of the guys. I mean, you got, from from their first receiver to their fourth or fifth receiver, you're talking about a different skill set with each guy. And, down the field threats, guys that can move in the slot. And, then they got the new guy this year from, the kid from Colorado that's, a power mover, and they're going to do different things with him too. So I just think it's the all-encompassing group that they're not all alike, they're all different, and they're all different and special in their own way. And they all bring a skill set that's harder to defend, and they've done a nice job there.
Kevin Bowen.
Hey, Matt. I've got two. First is what do you think of Julian Blackmon, seeing him on the practice field last week?
Okay. Yeah. How you doing, Kev?
Good.
Yeah, Julian really looked well. I mean, I think the rehab guys and Aaron and everybody's done an awesome job with him and getting him to where he is right now. And he looked really, really good. And, it's in terms of his quickness and his change and his stamina, because those are the things you worry about. Is he able to change gears? Does he look quick, when he's moving? And then his stamina to be able to push through and go through a practice. And he's still working on that side of it, but he looks really quick and agile and able to cover a lot of ground in a short period of time. So we're excited about where he is, and that's a tribute to Aaron and his crew in the training staff.
And then given the lack of preseason games and just what this offseason has dealt the entire NFL, do you worry about tackling even more before this opener compared to maybe previous openers?
Yeah, I think you're always concerned about that, Kev. I think that's a good question. And, we did tackle live in our scrimmages at times. We had live tackling drills and individuals at times, so we feel like we're prepared for it. But again, when it's the game snapped, we got to do a great job of sticking to our fundamentals and details and our good angles and being on top of that as we go. So definitely a concern, and we're going to work on it again this week.
We'll do two more. Bob Kravitz.
Yeah, hi, Matt. This might be a little bit of an odd question, but you're going to be playing all year in front of 2,500 fans or fewer, quite possibly. Will that have an impact on your defense in terms of, the offense won't have to go to silent counts? You'll have to sort of generate your own enthusiasm. How will it impact defense?
Yeah, Bob, I think you've answered it really for my answer. I mean, I think that I know that a lot of times that happens. The person you're asking the question, he gives you the answer back. But that's true. I mean, what you said is exactly right. I mean, you got to create your own energy. I think that's so important. We have a lot of enthusiastic guys on our defense that generate that, and you can see that in practice. And they do that, every day. So we're just going to really pull on those guys to be able to do that in the game, and then in terms of offense, you just don't get the advantage of that home field advantage of when you're on defense and the crowd's going and it's making it hard for the offense to communicate. You don't get that. And I think you'll see more of that at home, as you will away for us. But again, that's going to be an issue. But again, let's create our own enthusiasm with our execution and our play.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And last question, Jim Aiello.
Hey, Matt. Wanted to ask you a little bit about your corner depth. I know there's been some talk about Kerry having more experience maybe on the inside, but I know he's going to be a guy you guys count on the outside, if you need to. And then Isaiah Rodgers is a guy. Just curious about how he's kind of come along. I know he's kind of you guys see him in the slot probably.
Yeah, so the corners have been working with Jonathan, and myself over the past couple weeks, and we're excited where they are. They're going to be a group that we plan on playing well, and we want to come out and execute the techniques that we're teaching, and we feel good where they are. So we have 5 guys or so that we feel that can play inside, outside. Some guys are more outside, but some guys can play inside and outside, which is always what you need. And it's kind of what we lacked a little bit last year. And now we got TJ and Isaiah having the ability to play inside, outside, for us. And that's something that we have in terms of our depth. So we're super excited about that with our scouting staff bringing that in for us. And to answer your question about Isaiah, he's doing well. He's a work in progress, like all these rookies are, and he's going to continue to get better with understanding what we're asking him in terms of the hustle and the execution, and he's going to continue to work at that.